everybody. Welcome to Live at Mixtape. We are here on site at Evoking Cider Company. We are here at Film Row, and this is a new company that's going to be opening mid-June. And they have all sorts of ciders. And behind me, we have artist Sara Cowan. She's working on a mural for this place. She's going to be talking a little bit about her process. If you have any questions for her, please direct those to the comments, and we'll relay those to her. A little bit about Sara. Evoking geological formations, Sara Cowan's work is inspired by the delicate nature of our bodies and spirits. Each piece represents a narrative of one human life, with each line of thought suggesting both subtle and volatile events, beginning with the bottom line, causing subtly, developing reverberations. Through these examinations of individual experiences, two themes are repeatedly illustrated. Beauty and growth are found in struggle, and seemingly insignificant events can impact an entire existence. She lives and works in Oklahoma City. All of the proceeds today are going to be benefiting Oklahoma City Girls Art School. If you're able to donate any amount, please do so. If you don't have Venmo, you can donate on their website as well. So I'm going to let Sara take away.
Hi, I'm working on this mural just this week, and I'll probably be finished maybe Monday. But I did it all freehand. I didn't come in with a sketch or a plan. I came in with some selected colors, and that was basically my preparation for this. Thank you, Tim, for offering me this wall space, because it's nice to have a flat wall to paint a mural on. It's a blessing, because a lot of times when people paint murals, it's on brick or a really rough surface, and so being able to do my design and not worry about wrestling with some rough surface was great. So the description you read is about my visual art that I create on a canvas or for an art show. So if you can go to my Instagram, which is _Sara Cowan, and you can see what we're talking about with lines. So I'm gonna do some painting, finishing out the texture on this mural here. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and Lindsay will relay the questions to me. So thank you for joining us.
Meg Carlisle says, "Yay, Sara, it's so beautiful."
Yay, Meg. I miss you, Meg. I miss morning circles.
Kelsey Parker asks, "What do you use to make the dot patterns?"
There are specialized paints that some graffiti companies make, and graffiti paint companies. And so they look like a bingo dauber. So they're delightful, and thank you for asking. Hi, Kelsey. I'm going to join these two sections. I've never done this on anything that's not a flat surface. Like I'd be interested in trying it on like a 3D object. I've only done it on furniture, and I don't know. If you have any ideas for what this would be cool on, let me know. I think I tried it on a sewing machine, and it was too small. So that would be an adventure to try.
Elena says, "I miss you, work mom."
Aw, I miss you too, work child. I hope you're doing good. That's the best thing about Dr. Obscura working with the team, is because we're all such a family, especially at the front of house crew, people who work together on a daily basis. And I'm sure it's like that for the artists over in the fabrication area too. Anyway, can't wait to get back and see everybody and all the visitors. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are dying to get back in the space. So hopefully that'll happen soon when the plan is finalized and when the rate drops. So we're all making it up as we go. This reminds me of the music Jasmine used in her live.
It actually is.
Oh, that's awesome. That's probably why then.
It's so soothing.
It's probably copyright free. Maybe.
Maybe. We'll find out.
Nick says she thinks this would look cool in a refrigerator.
Oh, yes. That is a good idea.
How do you choose your color palettes? That's a question from me.
So I guess it depends on the space I'm working in. Now, if this were in my personal home, I kind of lean toward the more chaotic, the better. But because this is someone else's business, I kind of tried to start with the color of their logo. And they also use a lime green. You can't see from the camera, but they have a lime green floor in the production room. And so I wanted it to kind of tie into that. So I started with the lime green and then worked out from things that would kind of look nice next to it. So I brought in, I don't know, maybe 20 different cans of spray paint and chose colors and limited it. I put all the purple and pink in my car and didn't use any of that. So yeah, and just made blobs until there was enough of them and couldn't stop. So I went around the corner and and I decided it was probably time to stop and start making texture.
Nina Rodriguez says, I'd love this outside on a patio.
Oh yeah, that would be really fun. It's because it changes during the day depending on what light is on it. Because I use metallic paint sometimes, and so it just looks really different depending on the time of day.
Oh my gosh. Elena said, I'm watching this stream on a projector. So right now there's a mural of you painting a mural on my bedroom wall.
That is some epic fandom. Like, I appreciate that so much. Thank you, Elena. I've been curious about projectors. I'd like to get a projector for my house. But I worry about the audio not being awesome. I guess you'd have to get like a separate thing for that.
External audio.
Yeah. So if you have any recommendations for good home projectors, leave that in the comments.
It's almost like I've worked for a company that can do that.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean like just to watch movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We can talk.
Okay. Because I would have to hook it up to like my phone or a pad or iPad or something because I don't have any modern computers or video game systems that I could hook it up to. Like I can't even watch Netflix or Amazon Prime on my laptops. They're so old. So, yeah. That's why I'm glad you guys came with your cameras. All right, I think it's time to either go up or I'm nervous about doing a shape up there that's different. You guys can vote. Tell me whether I should push this turquoise all the way up or if I should do another color in the middle.
Depends on what color you're going with.
Yeah. So for that space, I've got a lime green. I could do yellow, but I haven't brought any yellow up that high, so probably not yellow. This is the turquoise that I was working with. Another light turquoise.
Yeah, I think a change as you get into that darker color up there is going to make a difference because you don't have as much contrast.
Right. Yeah, this is the light blue up there, so I probably won't use that. Yeah, I'll probably need to use the... Yeah, I guess my only other option right now. It's kind of like putting together a puzzle and trying not to touch colors, like whenever you make a drawing like that. Yeah, so...
Elena said her daughter Neva is screaming hi
Hi,
at the wall. She's confused, but she said yes to the turquoise.
Okay, the turquoise that I'm continuing?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of places where it kind of fades into the space, but it's largely the dark blue that does that. So I haven't done a lot of that with the green. This is kind of similar. I like it when it's like a blend of colors rather than a hard line. Because it kind of has a 3D effect when it crosses over. So that's a new thing I learned with this mural.
Tammy says, looking good, Sarah.
Thank you, Tammy.
Meg says, Sarah, what is your biggest inspiration as an artist?
Oh boy. Meditation and calming and keeping my hands busy. That's how I started painting. So I didn't call it making art, I called it messing around with paint. And that's a G-rated version of that phrase. But that's how anybody has to use their craft, is just mess around with the materials until you're comfortable using them, and then maybe a style will come.
Kelsey asks, where are some other places around town we can see your work?
Boy, I don't have a lot of murals around town except for there's a couple at Factory Obscura. One is in a public area. Tiffany McKnight and I collaborated on a mural that is in the lobby. And then there's one up ramp, Factory Obscura, that I did a couple of years ago that I really enjoyed working on, I guess about a year ago. And that's how I figured out this style. So really, I just like having access to walls where I can figure out my style, because I'm still a baby mural artist, but this is giving me a lot of confidence. I'm really enjoying this. And I was really lucky to get a space at the Plaza Walls for my very first mural, which is amazing. But it was small and it was on a space that had some rough areas, and it was a good learning experience. So, or learning opportunity. So that's when I learned I can't do this on brick. And so I tried to do this on another wall on cinder block, and I can't do this on cinder block either. Or at least I don't want to. It doesn't look as nice. You lose a lot of effect when it's on a rough texture.
So what would you use in lieu of those on a surface like a brick?
I would recommend somebody else paint that wall. yeah, because I'm comfortable with these materials, and I'm not one of those people who can just freehand draw a perfect circle, and I don't want to try. And I have access to these materials, and so I'm just going to continue doing this. Yeah, I feel like it's all right to say no and not like lose sleep trying to figure out something you can't do.
Yeah, definitely.
Because at that point, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah. Meg says, you're so brilliant.
Aw, that's nice. Thank you, Meg. Sometimes these dots overlap, especially in these areas where I have a hard time seeing, and that's okay. I'm not a perfectionist, obviously. That's why I dropped out of quilting class. Those people love perfection, and I am not a person who loves perfection.
When did you start on this piece?
What, a week and a half ago?
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, like a Thursday. Yeah, like maybe 9 days ago. Yeah. Probably try to keep it to about 3 or 4 hours a day, because otherwise my hands get tired and I don't want to be miserable. So, and I've got time because the cidery is opening next month. So, Soonish. Yeah, it's not urgent that I finish it this week, so I'm not putting pressure on myself, and they're not putting pressure on me. So it's good. And this is in the production room, so it's visible from the front windows of the cidery. And you can tell where it is. It's the Paramount building, and it's right next outside. That's where that big Stephen Adams mural is. So it's across the street from the old location of the OKC Girls Art School. Segue. That's where I used to. Our building used to be across the street. Now we've moved to Claflin, but I teach there. I teach the girls just finished 4th grade. I'm assuming, I don't know, school's out. Everybody should probably just finish the school year. But hopefully we'll be back up and running in the fall if that's safe. And it's a wonderful nonprofit after-school program. and we pick the girls up at school and then we deliver them back to their parents. And so it really is a like all-encompassing after-school program that tries to make it easy on the parents. So it's really fun, and they get to stick with it from 3rd grade till when they graduate in high school. So yeah, and they sell art and they have a savings account. So where by the time they graduate high school, they've got a little savings account from art sales.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So if you want to make a donation to that nonprofit, they are OKC Girls Art School on Venmo, and then you can go to their website as well if you don't have Venmo.
What do you teach there? That's a question from Kelsey.
It's just a broad range of things. We kind of have a theme every year, and this year the theme was folk art, and we really focused a lot on Mexican folk art because like both Kiona and I just think that's a gorgeous aesthetic and really enjoy learning about it as we taught it. And we took some field trips. We were able to take the girls to Folk Life in the Plaza District because they sell a lot of wonderful folk art objects that are really inspiring, colorful pieces. And we learned about like how folk art gets made, but usually by people who are not traditionally trained artists. And that was really fun to learn about. So yeah, I did a lot of what did we do? School year just abruptly ended in March, and so like I don't remember everything we did. But we did some needle felting. That was really fun. We did ceramics. We did some acrylic painting. Painted a lot of cats. That was fun. Because we're all cat crazy. So yeah. So lots of folk art this year. We'll do another theme next year.
Kiona says, "Hi Sarah, thanks for sharing about Oklahoma City Girls Art School."
Hi Kiona. Yeah, I guess she told me about a theme she's thinking of for next year, and so if she wants to share some thoughts, I don't know if she's finalized the theme for next year, but it's always, it was about, this year it was about Frida, like Frida's Garden was the theme, and the implementation of that was folk art.
Angie says, "I love seeing you create something big."
Thank you. Yeah, I like to have access to space that's big, so very lucky to be here. All right, now I'm going to move to this spot up here. And let's see. I think that's a good candidate for this light turquoise. It's a blessing and a curse to have a limited palette because once I start getting into these enclosed spaces, there's a lot of different colors that would touch each other. So it's nice to be limited because it looks nicer, I think, or it looks more palatable to the general consumer. But it also makes it to where I have to spend twice as much time thinking about what color goes somewhere. Also, I learned a really hard lesson about these paints, and sometimes when you turn the cap up, undo the cap, it'll bring the dabber up with it, and you might accidentally pour a bottle of paint on the floor. So I've not done that here, and I'm not going to do that here because I learned that lesson.
Even if you do, we can clean it up. It's not a problem.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do that because that would be a party foul.
We're not drinking. So.
No, we're not, but still, it's just, you don't want to go into someone's space and do that. Another lesson I learned doing this mural was I should have taped the bottom of the wall and the floor and put down a drop cloth because as much as I thought spray paint was not going to be problematic, it did create a little sticky dust on the floor. A little sticky dust.
It's all good.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it.
I know you're not, but in another environment, I might need to worry about that some more.
Kiona says, "I haven't yet finalized the artist to study next year. Definitely female, might be a contemporary artist."
That would be cool. There's a lot of good ones out there.
Okay. Elena asked, "What do you feel was the most difficult craft for you to learn?"
Craft. Oh, like using saws. I'm going to call that a craft. I'm going to say that using all the different kinds of saws to build things and to work on a construction environment, that's challenging. And I still like need guidance when I use those tools again, because it takes a lot of time building that confidence using power tools. I'm going to call that a craft.
Absolutely.
This blue is so light that I can barely see it, so there's a little overlap, but that doesn't bother me. I would like to know what kind of art making or craft making you guys do to calm yourself when you're stressed out. Just don't pretend you're not, because everybody's experiencing some kind of feelings right now. Another thing I like to do is gardening. Somehow just being in the garden or the yard just is immediately calming, even if I'm not doing anything, even if I'm just looking at my plants. That works for me.
Elena says, power tools are definitely a craft. At most, I can use an electric toothbrush with minimal injury.
I wonder if the Milk Crate Jam is still happening today at the Plaza District. This is an event that they have every year with a bunch of mural artists coming out, and I think they did it virtually. I'm not sure how long it goes, but that's another virtual mural thing happening today. Okay. I recently saw a video where I learned about how patterned fabrics are sometimes made in the traditional environment, and there's literally like a person, a lot of times a woman, with like a bolt of fabric laying out in front of her, and she has a block stamp that she's like stamping onto the fabric to make, and she's so precise that of course it looks perfect, and then she'll go back with another color. So it's not like screen printing, it's dyeing fabric with print. So I never knew the printing process that traditional makers would use, but that's a technology that's hundreds of years old, maybe thousands. I don't know, maybe thousands of years old. But like textiles are really interesting to me, and the people who have the skill level to just make it a perfect pattern are really impressive to me.
Elena said, I don't know if it's really an art, but for stress, I've been writing a comedy set. Eventually, I'm going to do stand-up.
That's wonderful, and that's an
She's
art
so
for sure.
great. She's
Yeah,
hilarious.
I can't wait. That's a straight line. I don't really want that straight line. So I have to figure out how to curve it in. I think I might use my silver right now to bring them together. 10% of my painting time is looking for my lids. And so there it is. But I anticipate that, so that's fine. Build that into my schedule. This is the smaller silver. I love painting with this so much. Someday maybe I'll do an entire mural that's just metallic texture. There you go. See, the dabber came off in the lid, and I was just about to use it, and not gonna do that. Gotta twist it back and get back in there. That is what we would call a pro tip. Even though I'm not a pro. That's the kind of knowledge that comes from months of experience.
Elena has also been trying out watercolor.
Oh, I want to try out watercolors. I see all these Instagram posts of people with their metal watercolor trays, and I went to the art store and I didn't see one, so I wonder where people find. I'll probably find some special mom and pop art supply store to order from, because I went to our local one and they just had plastic ones. So if you have a link to your favorite metal case of watercolors, I'm also interested in learning that. While I was, I actually took a set of children's watercolors, the kind you use in elementary school. I took a set with me to London and in March, and that's how I kept myself busy in the hotel rooms. It was just like playing around with watercolor. I'm still going to call it playing around with watercolor because I don't know how to use it. But I just ended up doing all these dabs and drops that ended up looking like maps or overhead photographs of land. And so that was fun, and it didn't require me to draw anything or make anything representational. So yeah, I don't ever try to make anything representational that looks like things because I don't want to yet. If I ever did, I think I'd probably like to learn just pen and ink drawings. Those are cool to me. I like that kind of illustration. But yeah, right now I don't put pressure on myself to draw things.
Ooh, Meg, she said, I work mostly with acrylic, and when I'm trying to create a feeling, for example, softness, I try to embody softness in my spirit, especially when I'm working on smaller and finer details. When I breathe in, I think softness, or whatever I'm trying to bring to surface in my art. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So she thinks about getting into the headspace before she does it, which is the opposite for me because I do it to get into the headspace. So that's awesome. Thank you, Meg. This is Coke Zero. I've started drinking soda again during quarantine. Now that someone else is delivering groceries, I'm ordering things that I never did, like Twizzlers and soda and Oreos. Yeah. So that's a habit that I'm gonna try to stop. Okay. So,
Morgan says she's eaten so many Oreos.
I mean, nothing counts right now. It all just disappears into the sky.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone on the planet is stress eating, I bet.
Oh yeah.
Unless they're like stress exercising. They could go the full other direction. Yeah.
Ooh, there's like light shimmering on the mural as cars drive by. It looks really cool.
Awesome.
What was?
Yeah, it definitely changes with shadows. Okay. Sometimes I'll just keep making dots and then I'll lose track of how big the space is I'm filling, and that's okay. I do not care. Like Bob Ross says, there are no mistakes, and I don't know. I've been listening to Bob Ross a little bit, and there was there was a radio story about Bob Ross and mental health on the BBC radio, because I'm obsessed with the BBC. But I thought that was cool that a lot of young people are using Bob Ross videos as like mental health care to calm down. So I learned a little bit about him. I guess he used to be in the military, and then after he finished in the military, he never wanted to shout again. That's why he used that calm tone of voice. But I learned the word that he used. He used the word in his paintings a lot. He would say, "Oh, let's put a little deuter over there." Like, I've never heard the word deuter, and I think he invented that word, and I like it a lot. So I'll probably try to incorporate that in my vocabulary.
Meg says Bob Ross can get it.
I like that. Yes. That is a good way to look at it. Okay, this is another lime green that I haven't used very much, and it was hot in my car today, so I'm going to test it not on the scaffolding.
You test it on wherever you need to test it.
No, I don't need to put a random green dot on your scaffolding. Okay, it's not too melty now.
Meg asked, do you ever count your dots?
I have on my other paintings, my gallery paintings. One time I counted them, and I think it was on let's call it a 16 by 24, and I did the math, and there was about 22,000 dots on there. But they were tiny; they weren't the big ones. But I don't know of a method to count these, so I wouldn't
use small
try.
children.
You what?
I use small children just to say count this area.
You know, someone suggested I should do that at Deluxe to count customers, but we never counted customers at Deluxe for like 10 years. So people would say, how many people come to the show? And we'd be like, a lot. It's free admission, like as many as want to, like plenty, enough to keep it going. I'm not a business person.
We will create a contest of how many dots are on this.
Yeah.
I like
Ooh,
jelly
that's a good
beans in a jar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meg Carlisle, 22,000.
2,000 in all caps.
Yeah. That's why my work is very meditative to me, because I have to sit still. And when I do the tiny dots with my other paintings, I have to hold my breath. So that's very calming. It's interesting that we have all ladies talking to me tonight. But I'm not surprised at all, because ladies are super supportive of each other. I like that.
Well, we got Barney.
Yay,
He has
Barney.
a question for you. Sarah, what advice can you give non-overall wearers interested in overalls?
Depends on the your gender presentation and if you care about how they fit. There are plenty of well-fitting overalls out there designed for men or people with a less than curvy figure. You can get those for $30 at Atwood's. There's an Oklahoma manufacturer that has a factory in Shawnee called Roundhouse, and I guess they've been around for more than 100 years. And I sent them an email to ask if they made women's overalls or if they consider it. And they said they don't, because that's a specialty product, and they don't have resources to make a specialty product. But they do make babies overalls, because apparently there's a lot of babies out there doing manual labor. But looking for workwear, and especially women's workwear, it's affordable and ethically produced. Spend a lot of time looking for and talking about that kind of thing. Very happy to recently discover Dovetail Workwear, which is a woman-owned company that I just ordered a pair of really nice heavy-duty working overalls from. Because a lot of times if you order them, they might be for fashion and cuteness, and they might not have more than 4 pockets, and that's something that's pretending to be overalls. It's not real. But for men, there's overalls all over the place, especially from just your local building supply store. Like they have a whole section with like work coats and overalls and in every size you can imagine. So I think that in this post wet seal era, like there's a lot of women who are really into like, straightforward clothing that they can not worry about tearing if they have to like run away from a predator. Mm-hmm. So the revolution is coming.
Barney asks, how many pairs of overalls do you own?
12, and I just ordered another pair from a workwear company in Missouri called Dungarees, which sells a lot of women's workwear along with men's. If you want to buy from a a business that seems to be like a local business in Missouri. I ordered something online. It's called Dungarees. And I was very thrilled that they have all kinds of women's Carhartt stuff. So I just now ordered my first pair of Carhartt overalls.
Nice.
Yeah, for like $30.
Nice.
Yeah. But it's really funny that coveralls thing with the sleeves and everything, you can buy a men's pair for $30 and you can buy a women's pair for $180. And so that's unless you go to Forever 21 and it's made of like nylon and with a deep V-neck, which is not for working. So anyway, it's hard out there for a lady. So, but yeah, there's fashion overalls and there's work overalls, and you gotta buy them at the right place. If you buy them in a place that's like shows pictures of people doing manual labor, that's a good
Good
clue.
sign.
You know, like a farmer and they have cowboy boots on. That's a good clue that they're probably legit. But if they're just like a man standing like in a Sears catalog on a white background, it's probably
No way.
that might not be work overalls. They might be fashion. Yeah, my birthday party for the past 2 years has been the overall crawl. Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah.
So I encourage everyone I know to buy overalls, and then after the party's over, you'll hopefully continue to wear them because they're life-changing, and it's so nice to not have anything on your belly. You can breathe better. Brad, do you have any overalls?
I have one pair as of like a week and a half ago. Lindsay got me a pair for my birthday.
Nice. Have you worn them yet?
I have.
Cool. Yeah. It's a game changer.
It is.
And I have my fancy ones and then my painting ones, and the painting ones outnumber the fancy ones for sure, because I don't have a lot of occasions to wear fancy things.
Right.
So, yeah.
I think Sarah needs her own segment, just describing
Like
fashion overalls versus work overalls, how you can tell the difference. What are the warning signs?
Workwear chat.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Barney, if someone wanted to rent a pair of overalls, where might they go?
There is a local shop in the Paseo called the Library OKC, and those girls have a really cool wardrobe of fun, fashionable clothes that you can borrow from them for a monthly membership, and you can just come and go and borrow clothes like it's your friend's closet. They have overalls that you can borrow. It's kind of like renting, but I don't know if they do have them for men. What'd you say?
So do they have men's?
They don't, but I've seen online some workwear companies will rent out they'll rent out a set of overalls or coveralls for your team. Like if you need to outfit a whole team of workers for a temporary amount of time, that exists, but I don't know if they do it individually. I think you could just shell out the $30,
Yeah.
you
There
know,
you go.
yeah. Or look at a thrift store. You might get lucky.
Meg says she bought 2 pairs of overalls when she started working at a factory because of Sarah.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I'm spreading the gospel all the time, for sure.
I mean, I'm guilty of that as well. I definitely bought a few.
Well, they're just so comfortable.
They are.
And there's a pocket in the front for your phone
Yes.
if they're legit work overalls.
Elena asks, how many masks have you sewn?
Hundreds. I don't know. I haven't counted. But it seems like the people who want the masks have gotten them now. So once this is over, then I might start sewing again. But I better, because I've already cut out 1 million pieces of fabric. So I could. Or I could make a quilt. What was that?
Geared up for more, are they?
Yeah, I got plenty of fabric. It sounds like somebody else is saying something because you're giggling.
Yes. Elena, I need a workplace instructional video starring Sarah about the do's and don'ts of overalls, titled Overalls and Under Control.
That's great. I like that a lot. It's kind of a shtick or a gimmick, but it's so sincere. Like, I really just want everyone to feel more comfortable and to not put pressure on themselves to be fashionable and cute all the time. Although this is very trendy right now, and it has been for a couple of years. I just lucked in. The reason I stumbled on overalls is because my dad was really excited that I got a job doing gardening and home construction for a summer, like as an assistant for a building crew, and he brought me his roundhouse overalls, and I was like, I've never really worn this, and it was very comfortable, and I went out and bought like 3 more pairs.
That's
and
amazing.
they happened to be trendy at the moment, so I could find a few. It was great. But then I was looking in my baby book, and then I saw something from when I was 2 that said we got Sarah some overalls, and she would wear them every day if she could. And I was like, oh, it's adorable. It's good to know. So, yes.
Were they Oshkosh
Yes,
overalls?
yes, they were.
They have to be.
Yeah.
My childhood overalls too.
Yes, nice. This is why I'm single. No, there's many reasons why. There's many reasons why I choose to be, but I think that you would have to have a high tolerance for listening to this, me going on about the BBC and overalls and Lord knows what else. So.
I think it's about time for our new segment called Love Fortunes with Meg.
Yes,
Let's see here.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Love fortunes with love, fortunes with love, fortunes with Meg.
There's a lady in a dress in the parking lot. She looks fancy. She's wearing heels.
Hey y'all, welcome to Love Fortunes with Meg, and welcome to my studio. So glad to be here. Sarah, this one is for you, darling. You are a daughter to the earth, an artist who gives back to her by picking up stones you can recognize as truth. You hold them inside your palms, throwing them like tiny bombs back out into the world as strong as you can. But you do not make bashful wishes. Instead, you demand for action when the seams of our bodies come undone. You hold the needle and the thread piercing our skin. You sew us back together again and carefully cut what doesn't belong. And I will gladly be quite happy to be on the other end of your fist. You effortlessly disguise as a kiss with a bit of a bite, which I never mind, and I will take full delight in your teeth that you sink into the softest parts of our hearts, and yours is steel wrapped in velvet that would melt under the eastern sun. There is so much love for you, my love. So much. An entire language bloomed when I specifically asked about you from ones that we both adore. These are the words that they said in no particular order. There is passion in your resourcefulness. We can consistently depend on you as an advocate and creative. You do not sit still. You create action in your strength, inspiring all of us to be brave. You do not suffer for fools. And quite honestly, I worship this about you. Your tenacity and your ability is remarkable. You are quite quick to bring us to humor and wit. You give it to us straight and true. You give us moments that we can hold inside our hands. We never have to question. Inclusivity and your heart are your superpowers. Generous and thoughtful, organized, always one step ahead. You look to make others most comfortable. Unbelievably inventive, bright, willing, clever, the wick of the candle, you hold the heat of the flame, and nothing will stop you from reaching the truth. Thank you, Sarah, for existing and for being you. You are a hero, and we're so lucky to be in existence with you. So thank you, and we love you. And to everyone watching, we love you. So glad that y'all are tuning in and hopefully enjoying your Saturday evening. I know I am, and much love. Much love.
Thank you so much. That was amazing, and that would never happen anywhere, any other workplace. Like no one would ever like write a love fortune poem for you. That's amazing. Thank you,
Thank you
Meg.
so much, Maggie. I was crying over here. Well, that about wraps it up. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you, OK Cider Co. Be sure you come check this place out. It's really cool. Opening mid-June. Please tune in next weekend. We have Jose Hernandez performing acoustic set on Friday. And on Saturday, we have Hannah Helbig. She'll be performing a harp set. So make sure you tune in. Thanks, guys.